What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest for the season 3 premiere is New York-based rapper-producer Mike. We spoke about Park Chan-wook, Skinamarink, Nigerian cinema, Paid in Full, Belly, the importance of tragedy and art, growing up across London, Philly, and New York, the nature of healing, a brief retrospective on his career, and the creative process behind his last 2 albums, Disco and Beware the Monkey. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back. It's been a month. I'm still not fully like here yet, but Real Notes is back, so it doesn't matter if I'm here yet. I'm here, I guess. Nah. Happy times. The year was good. I got COVID, but I'm better now. We're all better. The world feels kind of better. For now, we'll see. It's only January, but Dylan Green, CineMasai, got a lot of names. I'm not doing a lot of shit right now, and that feels pretty tight. It feels good to not do a lot of shit. But I'm with somebody else who's also been taking it a little easy, but he spent the last like 8 months dumping, and he's about to spend the next 4 dumping too. This is real special this is a real special season premiere. Somebody I've been fucking with tough for like 5-ish years. Man's a fucking rapper, producer, goddamn a freedom man. He's wearing some beautiful tie-dye right now. Big ass smiles and shit. We got Mike in the fucking house. I don't know, man. It's like we'll get to it later, but we got Mike in the fucking house. Like I'm just kind of blown by that fact. Man, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Like it really means a lot.
Nah, thank you, bro. I appreciate that shit. I've been seeing these Real Notes low-key online for hella long, but like, bro, I can't wait, bro. I can't wait.
Oh man, and that means so much. It's so like, oh man, I was talking to somebody yesterday who said something like that too, and just like the fact that y'all are watching this is so scary to me. I'm just trying not to embarrass myself.
It's fire, bro. But you're doing like what you're supposed to do. Low key is like, because like at the end of the day, we're all like very valuable members of this thing. You know what I mean? So like it's good that like even like you like showing people that like there's no real barrier. You know what I mean? Like just like we're all just humans and we all fuck with maybe not everything the same, but all like the same type of shit. Like everybody loves a movie. You know what I mean? So
right. Yeah, nah, it's all about universal languages and just like this shit saves lives, and I want people to remember that. So like and just have fun and shit. So let me ask you the first thing I ask everybody who comes on here. What was the last movie you saw that you or TV show, whatever, that you had a strong opinion about?
Last movie I saw, I watched this shit with my girlfriend. I think it's called Dedicated to Leaving. Let me just make sure that's what it's called real quick. By this director. Let me see.
That sounds kind of familiar too.
It was on movie. Decision to Leave. Sorry, Decision to Leave. There you go.
Gotcha.
By Park Chan-wook.
Yeah. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah, that was me and my girlfriend had watched one of his other movies, like an older movie he did, and then we just like was like, all right, let's just keep watching whatever the fuck, like the newest shit he got. So we had watched that shit. That shit was pretty tough. It was shot hella beautifully, and it was cool. I feel like I more so like movies that's like I always fuck with a tragedy. It's like type ending or whatever. But this didn't necessarily have like a tragedy ending, but it was very like dramatic. Like it was kind of like a crazy love story, you know. But I fucked with it too.
Right. Yeah. No, his movies, I only seen a handful myself, but like he was at the forefront of something called like the Hong Kong New Wave, like at some point, because like I saw if you saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, there's like a
Yeah,
section like you remember the bit where like um Evelyn and Evelyn and her husband are like they're like in the alleyway and like the future where she's a
yeah,
star and like
yeah.
everything gets kind of blurry. Like that's what he
Mm-hmm.
did. Like his whole shit was like that like
Wow.
blurry type shit. Like especially
Yeah.
early on. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize he put out something new. So you just
Yeah.
put me on. I'm gonna have to go
The
find
new
that.
shit, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty hard. I'm trying to find the other one we watched, because it was held like I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed that one more than I enjoyed this newer one. But I just gotta
Mm-hmm.
figure out what the movie is called. But it'll come up eventually.
Right. What you just you mentioned that you fuck with a tragedy sometimes. Like why what is it about tragedies that get you?
Right. I feel like sometimes it's like the only way to like get me to care about about some shit. It's fucked up. The movie I'm talking about that I watched was Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance.
That's
That
the
movie
one.
is
Oh
that's
man.
a tragedy like shit, bro.
Yeah.
It's like nobody wins, but I don't know. It's something about it's something about like just emotionally like it's like the shit that like gets me like I was like oh fuck, and then a lot of art. I feel like a lot of art, even if like in reality it might not be as much as a tragedy. I feel like every artist like mind like brain set thing is like oh I'm going through a tragedy and this is how like express what's going on. You know what I mean? I like yeah.
Right.
Cause sorry, what did you say?
No. I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, nah, yeah. I don't know. Seriously, like I watched this other movie called Incendies. Yeah,
Yeah.
like super like just like like tragic, but I don't know. It's something about it because it's like even throughout all the tragic shit, there's still like a lot of good like lessons I feel like to be learned. But for some reason, the tragic shit just always like makes it easy to like I don't know like understand.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sticks. It sticks. And also I just realized I completely fucked up. The person I was talking about who did the Hong Kong New Wave shit was Wong Kar-wai. He's somebody completely different.
For
I
sure, for sure,
fucked
for
up.
sure.
Park Chan-wook is yeah, because you said Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, and he's the
Yeah.
guy who made Old Boy. I don't know if you ever seen Old Boy, but Old
Nah,
Boy's fucking
but
crazy.
I heard
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, I heard about it. You watch that shit? Yeah.
Yeah, no, because Old Boy, Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, and there's one other movie. They make up like a trilogy.
Mm,
Yo, son, you gotta watch Old Boy.
yeah, I'm about
Like
That's a tragedy.
that's a
to.
fucking
I'm about to.
tragedy, son. Like, oh
No,
my
I'm about
god.
to.
like low key too much. Too much.
Yeah, nah, I love that shit, bro. Did you watch? You gotta watch this shit, bro. The Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, bro. This shit is like, it's just fine. It's just hard, like, cause you expect. I feel like most movies you kind of expect shit to all be good at the ending. So like sometimes it's just as little as like making it not a good ending that just makes the movie interesting. You know, I mean, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, nah. If you're into that, yeah, I'm gonna say it again. You gotta watch Old Boy. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm out of
like, man, that shit fucked me up for like a week after I watched it. I watched that in high school too. Like no 16-year-old needs to be watching no fucking Old Boys.
That's hilarious.
um but yeah, yeah, good shit over there. I haven't seen Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, and man, it's been a minute. I've been meaning to like tap back in to all of his stuff because like I haven't
Yeah.
seen Sympathy for Lady Vengeance since like college. Maybe it's been like 10 years.
Yeah, that shit. I just watched that shit. Is so hard to me, bro. I feel like you know what also be making the shit hard is that like I feel like all these like tragedies is like shit people be going through in real life, but then like because it's shot so well, it's like it just makes like the idea like I don't know like it's like how do you portray something so like foul and like sad in such a good way?
Yeah, it's like we're like at a remove and just kind of like 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 it is real, but it doesn't feel real. It's weird. Like that's like we were talking about it off camera, but that's what got me about this fucking Skinamarink movie because
Mm,
because like because like the whole because like I don't want to spoil it, but all I'm gonna say is it's about these two kids. They got to be like 4 and 6 years old. They're like in a house, and like they can't find their parents. It's like late at night, and there's like a monster in the dark somewhere. Like on some like you ever. It's so like yeah, so like the whole thing is like the whole movie is shot from like like you never see anybody's face.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Like
crazy.
you never see faces. All you see is like feet and like the backs of heads and like torsos and just like
That's crazy as fuck.
it's so it's like you ever like when you were a kid, was there ever a period of time when like your parents weren't home and like you were like in the dark and like you just like because like when I was a kid, I would like pretend a monster was chasing me if it was like too dark to like
Yeah.
get to my room faster type shit. Like
Totally.
the movie's that. It's like that for an hour and 40 minutes. It's weird and creepy and scary and good.
Nah,
And like
it sounds fire as fuck.
it's like not exactly I'm like I guess it is kind of tragic, but it's like it like operates on dream logic. It's
Yeah.
like yeah, it's like you ever see the movie Poltergeist with the fucking girl who goes in the TV?
Poltergeist, nah, I don't think so. I think I watched well, the scary movie depiction they do that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like no, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just saying I seen that shit.
Yeah, but like it's like imagine that, but it's like redone as like a Reddit style creepypasta. Like that's
Yeah.
Skinamarink. It's kind of wild.
Nah, it sounds spooky as fuck. I feel like that type of fear shit be the shit that be like kind of scaring me the most. Because when I was younger, I definitely used to be the type that would like run up, just even till today. Like sometimes, like if I'm somewhere that like this feels a little bit off, especially if I'm by myself, I just get the fuck up out of there.
Yeah, not with the quickness, bro. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. But yeah, like but yeah, like back to the tragedy thing, it's just like yeah, there's something like it's just like tragedy and like mortality are these like two things that I feel like everyone in life goes through. I mean like like more like mortality is something that's gonna come for all of us. And
Yeah.
like you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be scared. Like these are just like things that happen to every human being.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes them, and like that's what makes happiness relatable too, because like these are
Yeah.
all things that everyone feels, and
Nah, for
I
real.
get you. I get you.
Nah, that shit is
So
for real.
yeah, like so for you, what's the first movie experience you can remember having? Like it could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house,
Yeah, I have
wherever.
like, I was thinking about that question. I was like, yo, there's like two like memories that are like my beginning memories of like movies. Really, there's one like the first memory I would say is like the memory I used to have a lot, just of like when I was younger, my parents used to watch hella Nollywood movies and shit. So
Mhm.
like we just be in the crib watching all crazy like there's like wild Nollywood movies, but there's this one specific Nollywood movie called uh Beyonce versus Rihanna.
No, stop.
Bruh, yo, and honestly, it was one of the like it was a series. So it starts off like I think it starts off with just the Beyonce movie, like just like it's just like the a woman from Nigeria. Their name is Beyonce. It's like this is how they always do shit. But like it would just be like I guess they're like Nollywood movies. I guess it's supposed to be like the more it's like the drama, but like all those movies would just seem like real horror movies to me because it would be like super like low quality effects. Like whenever like they do voodoo or some shit or like do like any type of like crazy like there was like a part where like the lady put a bee's nest over the lady's head and
Mhm.
her face is supposed to look all crazy. And I just remember as a kid like being like, bro, this shit has actually traumatized me because this is some of the scariest shit I have ever seen in my life. And like I just remember like those movies used to have me like shook as fuck. Like just like even like simple shit like a witch mask be like spooking the fuck out of me because I'd be like, bro, the way they made them shits look so creepy back in the day, bro. It's like too much. It's too much.
She's blowing. That's a roll up over there.
Yo.
Are you serious? Nah, he's supposed to laugh. Yeah, my bad, dude.
Nah, you're good. What happened?
I should have wrote that shit before I said that. God.
This is what
What happened?
Nah, my puppy just
knocked all the weed out my hand.
Yeah, she's bad business, bro.
No.
And then look, like the faces she be making after she do the dumbest shit. It's like, yo, act like you got a brain, bro.
Oh man, what's her name, son?
Mezcal.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so cute. I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, like the Nollywood movies, and then you know the Spy Kids movie that had the it was like a gorilla spider, like
that might have been the third one, right? Is that the one with like George Lopez is the clock man, or not?
Maybe it's an old one. Cause let me see, Spy Kids. Cause I think I remember the 3D shit. The 3D shit is when they're like, yeah, they're in like the video game shit. It might be the first Spy Kids, but they basically like create these like weird animal thingies, and it's like a gorilla spider or some shit. Some other shit. I just remember seeing that shit because elementary school they took us to they took us to this movie theater that's like a school trip or whatever, and that's the movie we had watched. And that's just always like a very vivid memory of mine, because that spider gorilla shit was weird. And they also had bro with the nigga who had the faces connected to his head and shit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that was the first one. That's the first movie. Yeah. Because they had like 80, like they were like making all the little alien shits, and like they were all like regular humans that they just like turned into these creatures, and like. And the one thing I remember is that like their whole they spoke in what we thought was gibberish, but they were just like speaking backwards, and they played the shit back, and they were just like, "Save us, help us," or some shit. Like, just, what a wild ass movie, bro.
Yeah, it was tough because it was like real like kid humor. Like I feel like as a kid it was just funny as shit.
Right. Nah, I feel it. I was really into those too, and then Uncle Machete came in, and then they made his movie like 10 years later, and yeah. But nah, I didn't want to glance over Nollywood because I haven't talked about Nollywood too much on here, and I appreciate you bringing it up because for anybody who doesn't know, like Nollywood is like, you know, like Nigeria has one of Nigeria probably has the craziest film industry in Africa. And like it's like it to a certain extent, it's like almost on the scale of what we got over here as far as like how popular the shit is. And there's like 80,000 different kinds of movies. Like one of the only, I can't remember what it's called, but there was this one Nollywood joint I watched. The whole movie took place on a plane.
That sounds crazy.
And it was like it was like a dramedy about like everyone's like it focused on like 6 different passengers, like 2 that were in like first class and like 2 people who were in coach, and they were like it was like somebody was having like marriage problems, and like somebody else was like trying to like get to like a job or some shit. And like it was just so like it would be stuff like that. And then there was this other really crazy one that I saw that was like it was like a movie that took place over the course of like 2 months about this woman who was like ostracized from her fucking community. I wish I could remember what it was called. Mama something. I'm so mad that I can't remember what it's called.
No, it's good. I don't be remembering none of this, Brad. Literally, like when I was younger, I was like my parents would play that shit, and I would just be like shake, like for real scared in the crib. It was like, all like niggas be trying to bring that shit up to me like today or whatever, and I'd be like, gang, I honestly block that shit out of my mind.
They really be going crazy with all just like, you know, like it's like stuff like that. And like it's just like there's so much coming out of Nigeria in that, like I don't know, it's I've been meaning to tap back in, but I don't
Nah,
know what
nah,
you're talking about. But that sounds that
yeah.
sounds different. That sounds different.
It was definitely different. I think there's like especially on some like tragedy shit, like the Nollywood movies be like real like well, just fucked up tragedies where like I think like in the Beyonce versus Rihanna series, there's like a part where like basically the whole time it's just Beyonce Rihanna beefing the whole time. And then at one point they like get like the baby and do like a ritual on the baby where like they like it's fucked up. It's so fucked up. I don't even want to say it. It's real. It's the idea of it is just so nasty, bro. But they basically put the puppy in not the puppy, the baby in a like a bowl. And you know the shit that like Dominicans be using to like
the mash.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
like I'm like, what made y'all think of this specifically to like put in a movie, bro? Like that shit is just dark, bro. But you know which who had the funny Johns, like the funny Nollywood movies. You know them two. It's like these two men, but they look like kids.
Yeah. Fucking like just yeah, it's like this little yeah. Tell me about it. I don't want to cut you off.
Nah. I don't know. I can't remember their names, but I just remember like those used to be the two like real like I know if they was on the TV, then like I wasn't about to watch no like horror film. That just like be like the comedy of the comedic Nollywood films, but
they be going through it all the time, bro. Like like yeah. It's like I feel like everyone's seen like the pictures and the memes of just like the kid just sitting there and just like he looks like he's been alive for like 52 years type shit. He's fucking like 7 like
bro, that shit is so
oh
amazing,
man.
bro.
Like yeah, no. Yeah. Those like those movies are like so intensive too. Like they really be going through like real life struggles at all times.
Bro,
like just like shit
honestly,
you could never imagine.
It's so crazy. Like I, honestly, like I just be thinking, but I feel like as I got older, I became a lot more appreciative of it because I think it's really cool that there's like a wave of cinema coming out of like Nigeria, especially somewhere that's like a lot of the art movements that they've done have like been like political ways to get people to be on the government side or whatever. So it's cool to see like just like a genuine just like their own cinema thing that like this is like what we do and like what we fuck with and shit. Yeah.
Right. You know, yeah, like it's so crazy because I think a lot about the fact that like so many people all you know like culture is probably the biggest export out of the States, and there's like you know like Hollywood movies are like Hollywood movies impact the world in such a crazy and like weird and different way to the point where like you go somewhere like Nigeria or like India and you can see how like somebody would be watching like hella Hollywood films from over here, but just like how they mix that sensibility with what they got going on over there and just how it mutates and like and like that's what makes it so fire, you know, like that's why I love Bollywood and Nollywood films so much because like yeah, it's hard. I like it.
Nah, that shit is tough. It's definitely like it's like I be feeling like a lot of the old Nollywood movies is like the like mixtape versions of cinema. No cap.
Basically, like yeah, you're not lying. Like it's just like yeah, no, it's just like loose and just like it just flows type shit. I love it. It's so good. And like as you got older and moved on from being terrified by people in masks, what what was there a movie that you saw growing up that kind of like stopped you and made you really, you know, like not even necessarily in an artful way, but just kind of made you appreciate movies as more than just like a piece of entertainment, like something you connected to emotionally or just like something that really just shook you?
Yeah, fucking Goodfellas. Bruh, I'm not gonna lie, when I first seen that movie, and it's like kind of like I don't know, when I was like a teenager, I had this weird obsession with like all like mafia mob like thing. I just used to do I feel like as kids, a lot of us be hating books, but one of the first like real books I read was like the Donnie Brasco book.
Oh shit, I never
Yeah,
read that, but I know what it is. That's crazy.
yeah, that shit is hard. That shit is low key. It was tough. It was definitely like I must have been like 13 years old, so a lot of it I wasn't really taking it how I was supposed to take it in. But all the pictures and shit, I'd be like, "Yo, this shit is so cool, bro." But yeah, Goodfellas was like one of those movies that when I watched, I was like, "Nah, this is like the perfect movie, bro." I'm not gonna lie, it's just too fire to me.
What is it? What was it about Goodfellas that really struck you like that? Because I mean, like that's like a classic. I feel like that's like a, like that's like it stretches across every kind of person I've ever met in my life fucks with Goodfellas. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what type of shit you like.
Hey, I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna answer that question, but I'm also gonna put in another movie if that's cool.
Please, come on.
Paid in Full, and Goodfellas. It's like
Come on,
yeah.
son.
I'm not gonna lie. Like even I be nervous to bring up those movies to like real like movie people because I'm like, yeah, it's like movies that everybody watch. I'm like, bro, those are like two like perfect gangster movies, bro. Like that. It's just like I think the reason why I fuck with both of those movies, but I'll start with Goodfellas. Cause like if you know about like the mafia shit, like it's supposed to be like only if you're a Sicilian or like have Italian blood in you because they need to be able to go to your like if you do something bad out here, they need to be able to like find your family based off of your last name back in Italy or Sicily, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Bro, like the main character being like half Irish, and then with an Italian mom, I was like, bro, like this shit is so tough because it's like an experience that you get to see somebody like being in the mafia basically without necessarily like being. It's like seems like an experience that like almost like anybody like this is the one mafia experience that like anybody could like live. Well, not necessarily because
Right.
yeah, but I'm like it just I feel like at that time it was kind of like it was cool just to see that shit like it's like an Irish dude doing all this mafia shit, and then you also get to see like not only them just like killing people or beefing people, but their own personal like vices or like the dumb shit they be doing to each other or whatever. Like I don't know, something about that movie is just so fire. Like by the end of the movie, I personally just felt connected to like that of the characters for
real. Yeah, nah, like there's like like on top of all of that, just like Joe Pesci's whole shit in that movie is like one of the that was one of the first times I remember being just like that was one of the first times I remember like a performance really just like gripping me on some like damn like the fuck is this guy gonna do next? Like I was so young when I saw Goodfellas, so like because like the one scene that I remember every time I come away is the one where he's pistol whipping bro in the driveway. Like that shit is so crazy.
Right, that shit is tough. The one that I always love, this shit where the nigga like his man's just come out of jail. They come to link the niggas at the bar or whatever, and then his man's just trying to son Joe Pesci nigga like, bro. He's like, yeah, like he's basically like what he's like the nigga pressing him, and then he's like, you know what? Like they was arguing, and he's like, you know what? You got it, bro. And the nigga leave and then come back and start whooping the shit out of her.
Yeah,
like that shit. I'm like, yeah. Like I remember, like I like when I was like first making beats. That's like one of the first like interlude things that I like tried to sample and shit. Like that is amazing to me, bro. It's just a great movie.
Yeah, it's incredible. Damn, wow. That's like because I'm thinking about it. I can't think of very many songs that have sampled Goodfellas before. I feel like a lot of people consider that almost like untouchable. Maybe not. Like maybe I'm overthinking it, but like
right.
That's interesting because
You definitely have a point. There is definitely like you're not overthinking that at all. People have those untouchable things for sure. But I feel like it all depends on like what is untouchable to you. You know what I mean? Like when I was first sampling this shit, nothing. I touch anything for.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. Like it's just like you're like feeling around type shit. You're like even now, like you know, like I'll hear things like either like in a movie or something, and I'll just think to myself like that shit would be like, you know, like I want to rip that and just like put it somewhere, like if I ever make a beat one day, like
Nah, you
just for
got to.
shits, you know, like
You gotta
yeah.
make the folder, bro. People will pay you big money for that.
Hey man, hey, I got you, son. Yo, shit. But talk to me about Paid in Full, because I had what's it called? I had Mavi on here like a month and a half ago, and we spent like 20 minutes talking about Paid in Full.
Bro,
So what was it
it's,
about? Yeah.
it's one of the greatest films in the world because it shows you like literally Paid in Full is the only movie that people are like, oh, that's Ace. Like in the friend group, in your own friend group, you're like, oh, that's Ace, that's Mitch, that's Rico. Like literally, like it's just so fire because it really shows you like uh, it's one of those movies, and I always appreciate movies like this. Like Boys in the Hood, I feel like is another kind of movie like this that's like kind of like, and maybe it's a stereotype movie or whatever, but I just, to me, it's like a movie that shows like some of the different options people have to like take in these environments, you know. Like I watched a movie recently called A.E. Muffet, and the movie is like it's a very it's based in Nigeria or whatever, but the movie's just about niggas trying to leave Nigeria to come to England or like come to America, which is something that like 60% of Nigerians is like their everyday battle, you know what I mean? So like the Paid in Full
Right.
shit, it's just like, yo, like these are niggas that you know, like these are people that you know that like could do similar things. And then like even like the character Ace, how they portrayed Ace, like bro, like at certain points of the movie, it feel like you like, yo, Ace, like you feel like when Mitch was in the car, it feel like you Mitch all the time, like, yo, Ace, you should have did this, bro. You should have did this, bro. And then like it just show you like I feel like especially as a man, like there's so many themes of like what rage gets you, what like trying to barter with certain shit gets you, how like the idea of like snaking people or blah blah. Like I feel like that'd be everybody like intro into understanding like bro, just like bro, it's crazy, bro. That shit is deep, bro. Cause then it just show you like how kind of like warped living in like certain places be, bro, or growing up in certain places.
Yeah. Yeah, just like, you know, just like giving three examples. You got like you got everything going on with Ace, and you got like I mean like A, maybe the best Wood Harris has ever been in a movie ever. Like Ace is just like
It's amazing.
I what happened?
No, I was saying like his performance was amazing, bro.
Yeah, for real. You know, like, but yeah, you know, you look at everything going on with him and Lulu, and then just like, and then everything, and you know, like I always, you know, like Mekhi Phifer has been what Mekhi Phifer was like an actor that I really, really looked up to growing up, and especially
Yeah.
because of the way like that car scene when he's like crying over Sonny, you know,
Yo.
like, but you know, you look at what'd you say, bro?
Every nigga has cried in the car. Like,
No cap,
like to
bro.
their best
Son.
friend.
Man, bro.
To their best friend, like, bro, I'm about to go so hard.
Yeah,
like,
bro. I'm telling you, bro. I feel like, especially if you don't have those niggas in your life already as a young male, and you watch that movie, you learn and receive so much that like you wouldn't, like you don't have to now like get like literally like when it comes to like life and a lot of shit, bro. I would then just think like, yo, how would Ace handle like handle this shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. What would Ace do? What would Mitch do? Yeah, I feel it.
yeah.
I feel it.
The funny
But
thing
then,
about Ace, I
yeah,
don't even try to like say too much because I'm gonna shut up after this. But the thing about Ace is he kind of shows you how like that nigga Mitch was like the one getting money. Everybody thought he was the one, and then low key like Ace was the one for real.
Yeah,
and like it shows you how it is like to be the one, but nobody even sees it yet.
Yeah.
You feel me? And like only you know for real. Like you know what I mean? Like
nah, bro. That nigga like, cause that's the shit too, bro. I have made a post. I made a post recently. Where I was like, oh, like Paid in Full, but we all Mitch. And originally I was gonna put Ace, but then I was like, nah, that nigga Ace low-key snitched. And but then I'm like, yo, I'm like, it's so funny because it's like Ace kind of took Mitch shit and then like evolutionized it, where like created like turned it into like some like a more thought out process, you know, like what he was already doing, which was why it works for a nigga like Ace. But then it's like,
yeah,
I think I got a Vlad interview with
with the real nigga. Yeah, I watched that shit.
Right,
Bro.
yeah.
But the real nigga, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna make you not fuck with Ace.
Damn. I haven't seen the interview yet,
bro. The nigga, Wade Harris played that nigga so good, bro. I was like, nah, like even when Ace first snitched, I'm like, nah, this nigga still. The real Ace didn't snitch. I think, bro, I'm not gonna lie. If you watch
he said that I think that he said that the real what's it called? The real the nigga that played Cam, the real what was his name?
Rico, yeah.
Rico.
I can't remember the nigga. He had just came out and niggas killed him.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the nigga name.
Yeah, they said that he got himself bagged off some hot shit. He was just being hot.
I mean, that was Rico's whole shit, you know, like fucking like playing porn in the club ass nigga. Like, yeah, like you know, like that's the beautiful thing about Paid in Full to me, is that it's really like duality of man type shit. Like you have fucking you have fucking Mitch crying over Sonny in the car and like really trying to go hard, and then you have Rico pulling people out of car windows and playing porn in the club, you know, like playing like sex tapes in the club. Like that's like, you know, like
yeah, but it's so crazy though, because bro, I swear at different points in the movie you're like, yo, it make more sense to be Ace right now. Yeah, Alpha. At different parts of the movie, I feel like it make more sense to be Ace, it make more sense to be Mitch, and it make more sense to be Rico, bro.
It's because real life, bro, the funny thing about real life is not so black and white and easy for you to be like, this is a good guy.
Exactly, bro. That's why the movie is so
exactly
hard.
Yeah.
It give you like the full anatomy of like all this shit. It's like, oh, like it's not just about being a good nigga, because that's just not gonna be like, you know, like
and even it's not black and white with the snitches.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
How Ace did it in the movie, it wasn't like he still on some gangster shit. He was trying to get niggas
and then in real life, Alpha was like, he wasn't even like when he came home, niggas didn't care. Nobody cared.
But they killed him, bro.
But he got killed because he was fucking with some nigga's girl. And some nigga killed him because of a woman.
That's crazy.
You feel me? It's like, bro, niggas are more likely to kill somebody over a girl than they are like some like pride shit. You feel me? Like some like real like, oh, he snitched or he like stole from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as you fuck somebody's girl, then they're gonna try to kill you.
That's how Trouble died, bro. Like Trouble died because he was fucking somebody's lady. Which like rest in peace, Trouble, because he's one of my favorites. But like, yeah, you know, like that shit's real. That's just
more their feelings over women than like things that are real. Like a nigga could call you a bitch, all this other shit. The moment he fucks a nigga's girl, it's like, oh, I gotta kill him. Like,
man, people fucking immature and shit. Like I can't even. But nah, like Paid in Full is Paid in Full, and like I think like two things. Eddie
out of this whole thing though. By the way, I'm talking too much.
Nah, bro, I appreciate.
We need it.
Nah, man, I appreciate your perspective, son. Honestly, like I'm just happy you're here.
Yeah, for real, man.
Nah, I was just gonna say, the little DJ interludes always kill me. Like it's like, cause what year did Paid in Full take place? It was like the 70s or the 80s, the 80s, right?
Something like maybe, yeah.
Cause like I always think about that, and I just think about like K-Slay, cause like that sounds like some fucking like DJ K-Slay type. It might even be K-Slay. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah, bro,
like,
it's perfect, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like just on some like meaningful, like, cause I watched Belly for the first time recently, and I fuck with Belly. I fuck with Belly. I just never like when I had watched Paid in Full, bro, I was young as shit. I was still living in England. I remember my sister was at her like boyfriend's crib at the time. These niggas like basically like we at her boyfriend crib. The nigga is like my age right now, so the nigga ain't really have shit at his crib basically.
Yeah,
so
right.
Yeah, so we just watching him Paid in Full on the projector on the wall. And like it's still daytime, so like not all the colors is there and shit. But like I'm like, bro, like that shit, like even like our artistic wise, bro, Paid in Full is fucking crazy, bro. Like I feel like honestly, a lot of niggas, this is a hot take. A lot of niggas might not fuck with me over this, but I feel like Belly and Paid in Full, bro, niggas just should have took the cinematographer from Belly and used that shit for Paid in Full, bro.
I mean,
Hey.
fucking what's it called? It was Hype. What's it called? Hype Williams did fucking Belly.
Yeah,
So like,
uh-huh.
if Hype Williams did Paid in Full, that'd be crazy, honestly.
Bro,
Like,
cause it's I'm like, bro, like the story of Paid in Full, I'm sorry, is just so strong, bro. It's so strong, like so strong.
yeah, but like, and you know, like the story in Belly is like not. This might be a hot take, but I know like it's not. It's bad. I'm just gonna say it's bad. But
Yo, I'm
like,
like, bro.
but son, I love Belly. Belly, like, just like, especially the first like 10 minutes of Belly is like
Yeah,
as close to perfection as movies get. I'm not
nah, I
gonna
feel you.
front,
I feel
but
you. I feel you.
but like that shit falls apart like 40 minutes in story
Yeah,
wise, and you're just looking at it and just like
and
watching the
exactly.
performances type
Because
shit. Like,
it looks nice as fuck. That's the one thing about it, that it looks hella good. And that's, but even so, how Paid in Full is already shot, I've really honestly been changing it. Like even the scene when they're all in the club and the money start falling from the sky, bro. Like those type of scenes, I'm not gonna lie, like is like the black, like the backbone of fucking black culture, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's crazy, bro. You see that shit. You see that shit. I feel like that movie's so fire because it like when niggas talk about influence and like changing the like how people's lifestyle is and shit. I think that movie plays such a important role in that.
Nah, for sure. Like it's to the point where like I look at like the Criterion Collection has started to add a whole lot more like black film into it. Like I just got Coolie High for Christmas, and Coolie High is amazing if you've never seen it. I saw it for the first time back in December. Go find Coolie High. It's crazy. But put like I'm gonna say it. Put Paid in Full and Belly in the Criterion Collection. Like I
Yeah,
don't know who. I don't know if anybody's listening.
nah,
Somebody put them two in the
they
fucking
got to,
Criterion
bro.
Collection,
They
please.
got to. They got to. They got to. Because it's two like beautiful works of like black cinema, bro. That low key, I feel like changed everything, bro. Not because like Paid in Full and Belly, you can see the reference like for like the next 20 years. You know what I mean? Like the next however much years. Like, that shit is crazy.
Nah, for real. And around this time, or not even just around this time, but like when did I always feel awkward asking this question? When did music become a part of your life? But I feel like music's always been a part of your life. So like when did you first become like an active consumer of music, like consciously, like I fuck with this, that, whatever? Like when did that happen for you?
Uh, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Well, yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I had basically like, so I was living in England. There used to be this like, and this was like kind of like right before it became like a conscious decision to really like fuck with music or like look for certain things that I fuck with. Right before I had moved back to America, I was living in England. There used to be this channel called Channel U where they'll just play grime music all the time, and that's basically how I like found out about all that shit. And also, I had a cousin Sadiq who put me on to he literally put me onto LimeWire. And when he put me on the LimeWire, the first thing he showed me was like a grime song. He's like, yo, you could download all this shit on here. And then from there, I kind of knew about grime. Then I started watching Channel U. And then there was this one day I heard this one song and I was like, nah, this shit's too tough. Like, and basically since that day, I was like, yeah, I'm about to start rapping. And then I like go upstairs. So this is it's crazy because this is before I actually fucked with like music in a way where like I'm looking for music on my own. So I'm like, this is like the first part where like I'm like, yeah, I'm about to start rapping. And then I moved to America. When I moved to America, my dad got me this like little radio thingy it was like a weird radio. It looked like it's like a little box. It's really an alarm clock, but there's like an option to like play the radio or whatever. So then like Hot 97, this is around the time where like Drake was like just like really blowing up. And he had that one song like, if you miss me, I know, and I'm gone. You know the song I'm talking about?
I know exactly the song you're talking about.
and he had the Crooks and Castle sweater in the video with the Mickey Mouse glove. Bruh, I'm not gonna lie, like that shit. I had just moved to Philly and like I was just listening to the radio every night. Like Young Money was really like my favorite shit. Like that Lil Wayne, because I was living in England when Lil Wayne was really doing this shit. So the part I only really got to fuck with Wayne for was like the Sorry for the Wait.
Right. So like around like the time when he was with like with Nicki and Drake on Young Money.
Yeah, bro. It was like that period of time, honestly, like musically was blowing my fucking mind. Like that shit, I was just like, fuck, bro. I really thought Drake was like one of them. Like I was like, bro, like he's like not to be played with, bro. And Lil Wayne too, like especially at Sorry for the Wait. Like, and this is without me really knowing too much of like the importance that they already had in hip hop, because my parents, like my dad, the last rap album he really listened to was like Biggie, Ready to Die. Like he's from Nigeria, you know, like none of that shit really like mean too much to him. The only reason I think he listened to Biggie is because that was when he first came to over here and like was going to high school and shit. That was what was out at the time. So, but yeah, like besides all that shit, yeah, like Young Money. Then in Philly, there was also like Philly had like a big ass dance culture. So like kind of like
still do,
yeah, exactly. Like in order to be cool, for real, you had to know how to dance and like listen to like all like the club music. And so that was like another time where I was like really tapped into like I was like looking for my own music, or like looking for all these like underground like Philly DJs and shit that was making their mixes, like DJ Tiz. The one song like Pass It Around the Nation, Pass It Around the
Nation. Were you cutting it up on the fucking dance floor, son? Is that
Bro,
a thing that happened?
I'm not gonna lie. Middle school, I was going crazy. Like middle school, and it was funny because I had just came from the United Kingdom, so niggas was like, "Yo, like this English nigga over here."
No,
it was hilarious, but yeah, that shit was definitely like a big introduction just to like fucking with my own music, you know, like music that I think is cool.
That's hard because like, you know, like you just talking about like Young Money era Drake and Wayne and Philly club. Like I know you spent time in like a lot of corners of the globe, but you know, like you're like now, like now, all I'm imagining is just you going over fucking Philly club shit, and that might need to happen one day. Now that you know, like the whole shit kind of came full circle because fucking like I'm from Jersey, so like so you see like Jersey clubs going crazy right now.
Yeah,
so like
it's so crazy. It's so crazy because honestly, I would have never thought. I would have never thought because of how low key that shit was seen. Like even when like people like you would talk about like tangent is like the dance that they do out there and shit. You would talk to people about that outside of Philly, nobody would know where they're at. So like all this shit, like it even made me hella happy for Uzi because I was like, damn, like I know he got to be gassed as fuck. Like this shit actually like really came back around for him for real.
Yeah,
that's fuck.
Damn, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you know, like I just don't think I've ever heard you talk about like you really like dig into like the shit you were doing in Philly at that time. So like that's just like enlightening for me. So that's hard. I like that a lot.
No cap, man. Different times.
So for you, so you know, like before we move on to like really focusing on like your shit for a bit, what you know, like you got all this music and movie experience kind of going on at once, like especially with like the grime shit and the Philly club shit and just like everything you're kind of taking in. Was there Was there ever a period of time where you like consciously realized that like music and movies were two things that could like complement each other? Like how like a song can amplify a movie scene, or like how a music video could amplify like a song. It doesn't have to be either of those two things, but like
Nah,
something
yeah,
like
nah,
that.
for surely. Like, I feel like there was definitely like a part. I can't really map out exactly when it was, but I know there's like definitely different influences like when it comes to those things. Like I feel like definitely like paid like movies like Paid in Full or even Goodfellas or like certain music videos low key like there's this like fan made video that like these people made for like this Hype Williams song, but like the Dean Blunt group with Ingrid Copeland.
Yeah, I actually know
Yeah,
what you're talking about. That's crazy.
yeah. They made like a fan made video for this song called like "Your Girl Smells Like Chung Lee when she wears Dior" or some shit. And then yeah, like weird ass track name, but the video is just like a dude like dancing in slow mo next to a bed or whatever, like some real Tumblr shit. But certain shit like that, like relating it back to like the movies or whatever, like I feel like kind of that idea of being able to portray something like portray two being able just to express two emotions or more than one emotion at the same time. Like I feel like especially with a lot of my earlier music was like a lot more I feel like the topics of the music were a lot more like sad or like a lot more down or whatever. So like figuring out how to juxtapose that with the different sounds that I use, or like maybe the different words that I use, or the type of flow that I use and shit. So that's definitely how those like two visually and then like the audio and shit like came together.
I feel that, because let me tell you something about when I first heard May God Bless Your Hustle. When I
Mm.
first heard May God Bless Your Hustle, the thing that always sticks out to me, I'm blanking on the song name right now because I'm on the spot, but
Oh,
you open one of them songs talking about hunger make you eat your words instead. Like that's
yeah.
such a fucking image, bro. Like I remember the first time I heard that shit, because my boy, I'm gonna say real quick, my boy Greg, shout out to Greg, I love you if you're listening. He put me on to You in Slums, like right before Hustle came out. You know, like he
yeah,
was like on the ground at that time. I mean, I was too, but like he was like even further. But like I heard Hustle and I was like, that shit was a head bust. It fucking exploded everything in my brain. And like
thank you,
you,
bro.
you yeah, no, like you just had these fucking images just like that, and like you said you were like off the wall like a wet sticker, shit like that, like it's like I can see it, feel it, like taste it, touch it, crazy
Nah,
shit.
bro,
So
I
like,
appreciate that shit for real. Thank you, bro.
yeah, no, absolutely. I just feel you saying that because I can see it in your writing at that
Mm,
time. And
yeah.
like, what was it, before we get into that, what
Mm.
was it, when did you first realize that rap was going to be more than just a hobby and just like a thing you did and a thing that you were just going to like devote your life to, type shit?
Secretly, very secretly. Um, I think like I think when I came out from middle school, like my first year of high school, I like I low key hated school so bad. I like hated school really, really, really bad. And I was like, yo, by the time I'm 18, I'm about to be a famous rapper. Or like by the time I'm like, yeah, by the time I told myself by the time I'm 18, I'm about to be a famous rapper. So then I don't gotta go to college. And hopefully early or hopefully earlier so I could drop out of school. And
Right.
then so like since then, secretly I'd always just be in my head like, yeah, like I'm just doing this shit right now, like almost on some undercover agent shit. I'm just doing all this shit right now, playing my part, and then as soon as I hit 18, boom, I'm out of here. And then, but like I started getting older, reality coming to fruition and shit. Um, Basically, but I don't know, it was always just my main thing. Like even like signing up to college, there's only one college that I really wanted to go to, which was Purchase, because they had like a cool music program.
Nigga, I went to Purchase. Stop it.
Jeez, for real. I wanted to go to Purchase so bad, bro. And then bro, and then I went for the interview thingy. They wanted me to like, I had to do an interview with them. This is before I was producing my own beats or whatever. And I was trying to join their production shit. And I was trying to like, they was asking me questions and shit. And at this point, I had only like I never really produced nothing on my own, but I had to ask the homie, like, you know, like sometimes as a rapper, you'll be with a producer and kind of tell them like, yo, could you do this? Could you do this? Could you do this? Whatever. And so basically it was like a collab beat or whatever. And that's the beat I was trying to use to like present or whatever. And then they was asking me questions about mixing. And I was just bullshitting so hard, bro. I was bullshitting so crazy. And then there was like a music theory test, and I failed it terribly. And I remember being there with my dad. He was like so hyped to take me up there. I got out of the test. And he's like, yo, you think you did good? I'm like, yeah, bro, I know I snapped. I'm like, in my head, I know, like, bro, ain't no way. I was like, literally, if they allow me to join this school, it's really out of some like love shit, bro, for real. But I ended up not getting accepted. But
Get me
yeah. But yeah, the shit definitely like it was just funny because that was like my I feel like eventually it all just became, I was just looking for chances to take music like seriously, you know what I mean, or be able to like dive into my music. And then really there was one day where like I ended up going to York College, a badass college, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It was in Queens. I remember one day I pulled up. This is like, I'm like 3/4 into the college semester. I pull up one day. I was like running late for class. I pull up. I go straight to the library. I like open my laptop. I took a selfie. Closed my laptop. Left the college and never came back. And then since that day, I was like, yeah, I'm just about to do this music shit, bro.
That was it. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I look, you will never forget that, dude.
So how old were you when Hustle came out?
Probably, I think at that point, I'd have to be like 18 or 17. I have a late birthday, so I think I might have been 18. I think I might have been 18. I'm not sure.
Okay, so you know, like I thought about it, and Hustle is almost five. It's actually over 5 years old at this point. So like, you know, talk to me about, like, it doesn't have to be too long, but like real quick, just like break down like what was going on with you at that time, and like after you put it out and you got the reaction you got, you know, like between like Tebe coming to buy the album and just like the general like eyes that were on you, like how did it feel to kind of just like put that out in the world and have people be so like receptive of it so early, you know? Because I feel like you kind of struck and then people were immediately like just staring it down.
Yeah, it was, I feel like it was kind of like it was a crazy experience. I feel like it was wild because, and I feel like that's the thing in this like music shit sometimes, is that like, or like even me saying the college story or whatever, it's because it always feels like there's going to be something that's like going to be your big break or like your big like something, you know. And I honestly, I feel like that's the best way to look at this shit, as like everything being your big break. Like every single, it's like step forward is your big break, you know. Like, but because like even like Tebe reaching out and shit was like before Megaba shit also had dropped, like a few months before. And I remember when that first happened, I was like, oh fuck, like that's my favorite rapper. So I'm like I already, you know, like did like I was in my head, I'm like, I already do what I had to do, blah blah. But then like months go by and then you realize like, and then I was like 17, like 17, 18. So my brain is not like, I'm not really understanding like all of it, you know, but just like it became a thing. I was like, all right, cool. Like now I can like think about this shit. I just started thinking started just thinking about shit, like I guess in a more broader way. And then like I was really, when Miguel Shit Hustle dropped, it was like I like at that point I feel like I kind of already had an idea that like shit was gonna be good, like regardless, you know, like and then from there it was just like putting all the pieces together, because like New York is such a weird place that like anything that happens, like everybody already knows about it. Like before you even like get to execute what you're trying to execute, just like everybody already knows whatever. So it was just funny, and it was funny too because it almost felt like a free throw shot, like before the game ends, and like everybody's like, bruh, like you about to like hit it or miss it, bruh. And then it's like, yeah. So when the tape dropped, it was crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like, because prior, like the 6 months, 7 months before that, I was like going to EXO Studios, like certain like label people reaching out or whatever, and then but I was so broke. I'm not gonna lie, like I was just so broke. Like I was like broke on some like it was fuck. Like the homies were really like looking out for me and shit. And then the tape had dropped, and literally like mind you, not only was I broke, I didn't have no ID. Like I didn't like my only ID I had was my school ID. I somehow lost my passport and my like real ID. Couldn't find my birth certificate. Like I was just fucked. So I couldn't get no credit card, no debit card. So the only shit that I would use was, I would just use PayPal. And this is before I knew about Uber Eats. So like PayPal had this like weird thing where you could like use the money at like certain like close establishments. So there would be this one Chinese restaurant that took the PayPal thingy, and I would just eat there every day basically. But once Megabashi Hustle had dropped, my like PayPal had just went up. Like it kind of went crazy, and like wouldn't go down for like a couple months, bro. And like that shit, like it was just wild because I was still kind of in the same predicament, and I was like just using the money like now every day, like everybody we was all staying at this one crib. We would just like I literally spent all the money on just buying food for like us, like all of us, and then getting like Uber rides and shit. And just like we just had like low-key the summer that made God Bless Your Hustle drop, we was living like real rappers for
Damn, on some Wu-Tang shit, because that's like I think about like Ghostface making runs to the store to go get like cans of beans and shit, and like he would like go in a trench coat and like run out with the beans, and then they would just like order like chicken wings from a Chinese spot. Like that's like some real Wu-Tang shit, bro. Like that's crazy.
it's wild, bro. Like those times, and like those times, honestly, it's like I praise those times because a lot of my like some of my favorite or like most spiritual experiences with music like came from like those times for
Like what? I'm kind of curious now.
Like I have this one song, Graba.
Yeah,
and yeah, like it's crazy because like I had woke up one night, I had like heard thunder. I like woke up because it was like thunder outside or whatever, and then I was just like I just got up. The sky was looking crazy. Like the sky was like had like that purple tint, and then I started producing this beat, and I like started chopping the beat or whatever, and like the chops literally don't make no sense. Like it's like even till today, I'm like, bro, like I bullshitted my way through that beat, bro, because like it like the way the chop came to sound, how it sounded, I was like, bro, what the fuck? And then it even sounded like there was like thunder in the beat, and I was like, bro, like I'm pretty sure I like made the beat that night and wrote the rap and just recorded that shit. And I was just like, bro, like it's so crazy that like it's like the thunder woke me up out of sleep. Like I chopped the beat. It's like it naturally sounds like just like thunder in the beat. And then it's crazy because then the thunder thing became a big theme, like throughout the whole Warm My Pen, like, or like just like the sound of the thunder, because it's supposed to be like represent like waking up to like like creating some like, or like coming out with some shit. But yeah, like those type of experiences, I'd be like, bro, like that was like God themselves like waking me up, bro, to like do that shit.
Yeah, no, that's definitely some sort of just like fate, divine intervention shit. Like, you know, like wow. And like, and like, because I never asked you this and I've always been curious and I don't think you've ever talked about it, where did the name DJ Black Power come from? I mean, like I know what it means, you know, like it's you know, like it's so direct and it's like almost like kind of tongue in cheek to me. It almost feels like a joke sometimes, but like not in a bad way. It's just like funny, like DJ Black Power. It's just like yeah,
Yeah.
it's but like when did you first land on the name DJ Black Power as like your producer name?
I feel like it was a little minute ago. Like I feel like maybe like a year before I had dropped Where My Pen, I was kind of like going back and forth with the idea. But I definitely remember it coming up as a joke. Like it was a joke at first, like kind of like whatever. Like it came off as a joke, but then it also like became like it just became like a cool kind of idea, like to like I don't know, just like work on and stuff, because it was one of those things, like it was like another moment to make a serious or like a situation that people expect to be one way, like kind of like broaden, like make the context a little bit deeper, you know, like the idea of like what Black Power means to me, and like is Black Power always the most positive, or like most like just like all the different aspects of that thing, and like how can that shit like look or whatever. But yeah, that it was really like a year before the Warren My Pen shit had dropped, but then it really ended up like molding itself into its own character.
Right. Yeah. And I know I'm happy you said that specifically, like molding into its own character. Cause like every time I talk to any rapper producer, I'm always so curious about like how those two processes like work and commingle, or if they commingle for you. Like how much does the way you produce influence the way you rap and the other way around? Like, does it? Are those two
Yeah,
things that are like separate for you,
nah,
or do you, yeah.
it's definitely like I feel like that's like, and I get weird in this way too of like when I come up with an idea, I like kind of treat it like a living, like its own being and shit. But like the Black Power shit, I be feeling like yo, saved me in a sense too, just like being able to create like its own world, you know, like because once I really started getting the hang of the DJ Black Power shit, I was really after that mostly like I would be most excited to rap on my own beats, like or like to see what I could go into like Ableton and like cook up and shit, because I'm seeing shit like under the lens of who I believe DJ Black Power is, you know, like or like what kind of environment does DJ Black Power live in, or like, you know, all these other things. And then it helps, I feel like it helps build like, because with everything I try and do, I'm always just trying to build a world or like build some type of infrastructure based on my writing or the production. So the production sometimes helps build this world, or like, all right, this specific like these specific ideas could fit nice in this world.
Yeah, I see. Like, you know, like you mentioned War in My Pen. I think a lot about Never Knocked, which I think is one of my favorite
Yeah,
songs of yours, and just like the way it kind of like it kind of like crisscrosses over itself, and then you
yeah,
just like come in like you come in like just after the shit starts, and it's just
yeah,
kind of like da 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 da. Like I don't know, it just feels like I think about that song a lot, and just like how like your voice is in conversation with the beat that you made. And it's just
yeah,
like the thing that's always crazy about people rapping over their own beats is like, I don't know that anybody else would be able to do that the way that you did, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Nah,
And
I,
like, yeah,
I always appreciate a rapper producer, bro, because I feel like it's like you're like not only the like nigga doing the contracts now, you're also doing the building as well. You know what I mean? Like you're like
Right.
doing you're like the landlord who's building his own house. You know, like but
Right.
like that shit is like funny enough. I feel like Warren My Pen was like the one where like it really built its own thing, like or like kind of like a different style of my music, because I feel like Warren My Pen was the first time where it was like me just being dependent of my own sound, you know, or like what
Right.
I think is cool. Because even at the intro to Warm My Pen, Chocolate, I was always scared, like, I don't know if people will like fuck with this shit. But then like it's funny seeing like people be like, oh, like this is like the like people always talk about that as like the beginning of just of like me, like the beginning of like my production, like being its own thing, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. And you know, like it's just to like see it grow from that to I think Tears of Joy is what Tears of Joy came after War in My Pen, right? Or was
Yeah,
there it was
yeah.
I'm trying to I'm blanking. I'm being a bad journalist right now.
Nah,
But
I don't think there was anything in between.
okay, because I was trying to remember I was trying to remember when Black Soap and all that shit came out. I think
Oh
that might have
yeah,
been before.
yeah.
Okay.
That was before Warm My Pen.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and, you know, we talked about this a little bit before, but you know, like a lot's been made, or no, you mentioned it before, but like a lot's been made of how like happy, quote unquote, or sad, quote unquote, your music is, and like I feel like especially recently, and I feel like I might also be guilty of this a bit. Like it's like that's kind of the narrative that's kind of built, that's kind of like built itself around like what you've done, especially like post Tears of Joy.
Yeah.
And but to me, I'd argue that everything you make is just like you're just raw, you know, like you're just
Uh,
like a naturally raw, like personal dude, you know. And
mm,
like you mentioned in your Vulture interview that as opposed to like binary emotions, you kind of see all of this as just like a healing process, which it is. And I think that's beautiful because like, you know, like no one's ever the shit, like, you know, like everybody moves at their own pace.
yeah.
And, you know, just like in that respect, like considering how things have changed, especially from Tears of Joy to Disco to now Beware of the Monkey, like how far along in the healing process do you feel like you are? Because you've been through a lot. I don't need to say what's happened to you, but like you've
Yeah.
been through a lot. So like,
Nah,
where do you
yeah.
feel you are there?
I feel like I'm still learning, bro. Like I feel like every day I think I'm a teacher. I realize I'm like more of a student than I like ever realized. You know, like because there's always some shit out there to like bust your heads. You know, or like just have you like thinking about this shit in a different way. Like, and I feel like for I've been healing for I feel like even like healing like it's like I don't know. Like I feel like I've definitely been healing for a long time and like healing with my family as well. I'm like trying to put things together, like put like create an experience that we may have not been able to experience before. So I feel like and those parts like we're healing, but I feel like part of healing is just being a student to all of this shit and like becoming more comfortable like with languages that you're not used to speaking. Basically, like I was having a conversation with my older sister recently. Is like, yeah, like I feel like sometimes we and not between me and her, but just in general, like I was telling her, like sometimes we do things to hurt each other, and when we talk about it, we internalize it instead of like taking it for just like what the actual information is, and I'm like that's like a part of like something we need to learn to do to like not feel the stab of things that may have happened, but more so like be grateful that like we lasted like past it, and like the fact that like we can easily talk about things means that like we're a step forward towards changing shit, or like a step forward towards like making shit a different way. So I don't know, like just like those type of conversations and like those type of I don't know, I feel like the world has been in such a crazy place while we're going through our own shit that like there's a lot of rebuilding we got to do, you know, like to like enjoy, like, bruh, the shit I was telling my sister, bruh, is like life, the world, society, bruh, is cracking down on the quality of life. Like, people do not want you to, and like the quality of life is fucking decreasing every single day. You know what I mean? So like at this point, it's like up to us to create some shit that makes this shit worth it. You know? So
yeah, definitely. You know, it's so crazy you mentioned that. I was talking to my sister about that probably 3-4 days ago. My sister just moved home from Portland probably about like almost 3 months ago at this point.
Crazy.
And it's just like, you know, it's just beautiful to it's scary, but also beautiful to be able to just talk about like things that are wrong with the world and with like your own personal relationships and just like things you've been through, and just like find, just like finding ways to make it through, and just like do shit like you said that just to put shit out there that makes it worth it, you know. And I think the thing that's so special about Disco and Evil Eye, or excuse me, Disco and Beware the Monkey to me, is that like the stuff on it feels, like even if it's, like your shit isn't always just all one thing or all the other, but in general, those two albums feel so sunny to me. Like they feel, or maybe sunny is the wrong word. They feel warmer to me, like especially like, like Evil Eye and Zaza are like two of the warmest songs you've ever made. Like I can feel I can feel your smile on those two songs. And like Going to Beware of the Monkey, I can, like no Curse Lifted and Stop Worry, or Once Again, like those songs are like warm and inviting, and like you're talking about shit that's both happy and sad, but it just feels like a hug in that way. Like it feels like a hug in a way that hunger doesn't. Like in a way that
I understand what you mean.
Yeah, so just like, because those two albums kind of feel so similar in like tone to me, like talk to me about making both Disco and Beware of the Monkey, and like where your mind was at, and like what you wanted people to take away from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like with Disco is kind of like my I was trying to make it, but I was trying to make it like my artsy album, or like my not even artsy, but just my album that like kind of proves my just like my sound and whatever. So I was just like doing shit that usually I would make and then keep. I was like, I'm gonna put this on the project and like see if people like fuck with this stuff, or shit like Frogville. Like Frogville is one that I would make and keep for myself, because I was like, oh yeah, this shit is hard, but I don't know if anybody else is gonna understand this shit. Or like at Thirst Sight.
Oh God, bro. I love that fucking song, bro.
Yo, thank you, bro. That's literally one of my favorite songs I've ever made, bro. I can't lie. Like, but
can I? No, I'm sorry to cut you off. The first, I remember when Disco came. No, when Navin sent me Disco, I told him like, At Thirst Sight is fucking crazy. I'm not gonna sample snitch on you, but you know what you grabbed. You know what you grabbed. And I heard that and I was like, because that's my favorite. That's my favorite. That artist song ever. And yeah, so like, I never heard anybody sample that song in any way. Forget that way, but like, I love that fucking song. So thank you, bro. Big ups.
That one, like, I feel like it was a lot of like testing like my abilities on this shit, especially like testing, because I feel like what I like to do like in my work is like give ideas, like put the idea out instead of trying to like polish it completely to be a whole complete thought. And like if you give people the ideas, you also give them room to think of shit for themselves. You know what I mean? Right. So like I always just try to put the idea out. So I was really excited for like a track like A Third Sight to come out on that one, or like Frogville, or even what's the one like it's like right after Tailwind or right before Tailwind. I can't remember what the shit called, but
let me see.
It was just
Airdrop.
Nah, not even Airdrop. I got you right now. Sandra. Yeah, it's like it was one where I didn't really use no sample on, and like those is ones that like I would do like at the crib, but not really put out, you know. So it was just cool. Like I feel like that one, especially in terms of like soundish, or Leaders of Tomorrow, which is one of my personal favorite beats ever. Like that
Crazy.
shit. I wish I could have worked with a real director and like made a movie just based on that song alone, bro. Like the or just even that, my lyrics don't even have to be on it, just the production, bro. Because literally, I'm like, it's just like, I don't know, like for me, I feel like the disco was about really painting this picture like that was like in my head, and like because the whole thing of disco is like the disco ball is supposed to represent the world, and the like the disco, I guess, being something that was like being reflected upon is like pushing all that shit, like it's kind of like pushing all that shit back out, you know what I mean? Like instead of like keeping like taking the shit in, it's like pushing all this shit back out. And that was like the overall idea of the shit. And I guess it just seemed like a good opportunity to express all these like more experimental ideas that I have. But it's so weird because they're more experimental ideas, but a lot of people would tell me that this is like some of the most accessible music that like I've made. I like made for me. I'm like, yeah, I guess, bro. Like,
You know, but like, no, finish your thought. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that like I love the thought of you kind of making music as like giving an idea to people and having them kind of complete the thought, because your music also feels your music's always felt conversational to me in that way, but especially from Tears of Joy up until up and through these last couple joints you put out. Like it's just because I was talking to my man Austin, shout out to Austin, yesterday, about the idea of like what it means to have your art interpreted, and like what it means for like whether that be by like the artist themselves or by a listener or by like a journalist or a critic, and like what like, you know, like whose interpretation matters. And it's just like whenever I try to do stuff, whenever I write, speaking for myself super quick, I try to take in as many perspectives. Like I write for me, but I also want to be able to put across, like I try my hardest to meet an artist halfway with what they're trying to do, whether I like the shit or not. I at least want to feel like I kind of understand where they're coming from, and if I don't, then that can just be like more shit for me to write about. But like when it comes to your music, you know, like it's just like you're posing a question or like stating a thought and then waiting for somebody to bring their own shit to it, which in and of itself is experimental, because we're so used to thinking of like a song as a complete thought or something that needs to be a complete thought. And that isn't to say that your music's not like complete or not thoughtful, because it's all of those things. But you know, you just kind of leave it, it's open-ended in a way that a lot of people's aren't, you know. Like I can't really think of much other, I mean, like there's other people who do shit like that, but it's just cool to see you do it in that way and be so conscious of the, you know, like that's what, like I think that's what makes your music so strong, is that because it's like you kind of make it open-ended, but it's not, but that also doesn't make it like half finished, or like you didn't put thought into it. Like you're just kind of leaving spaces open for people to walk through the hole, you know?
For sure, because the shit for real is supposed to be like I always try and keep shit intentional, like make sure I'm just being intentional about like whatever I'm doing. So I think it helps give a lot of the ideas like the purpose that they need, you know.
Right. And how do you feel that kind of manifested on Beware of the Monkey?
It's crazy, like because I usually figure out what the tape is about at the ending, like when it's like
Right.
kind of getting finished, like put all together and shit. But like Beware the Monkey was so weird because I kind of went into it with the idea, like, because the whole astrology shit kind of predicts what the year is supposed to be like for you. And I definitely, like, it was definitely, a lot of it was definitely right. I don't know if I self-prophesized it for myself, but a lot, it was like it's kind of like a tough year. It was a tough year, but it was weird because it was a tough year, but it was one of the years I've like been most stable, like financially and shit. But like mentally, I was just like tripping out. I was tripping out for a lot of the year, like just like stressing the fuck out over like a lot of dumb shit. Or, like, I don't know, like it definitely like, so like a lot of the songs became like representations of that, and like also just like wanting to like get away from that as well, and like trying to figure out like what do I got to do to like get out of this shit. And it really like was like a diary, but then it became like more so not a diary because I already had an idea of how the year was supposed to go. So it's kind of like how I'm like supposed to like fight back against the reality that I guess has like already been chosen for me, you know.
Right. What 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 Lunar New Year animal are you? Are you a monkey?
Nah, I'm a tiger.
I'm a monkey. So that's
Oh,
why that's that yeah, I'm a monkey. That's why when I saw the title, I was like, damn, you really calling me out right now. Like on some shit. Cause
that's fire, bro. I think you're the first person that's like comes to me like, yeah, I'm here to monkey. That's wild.
yeah, nah, it's I like when I was a kid, I was always more interested in like the Lunar New Year animals than I was in like zodiacal signs, which I'm a
Yeah.
little more interested in now.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, I didn't look too deep into it in terms of like what it meant on that level, but I just kind of appreciate that like this like this new like this new project is so cool to me because it really feels like you're like it's like we're always healing, we're always figuring things out, like more a student than a teacher type shit. But
Mm-hmm.
this like there's so much going on here that I feel like I can't always grasp on the first listen, and that always invites me to kind of come in and do more. Like because like I got stuck on No Curse Lifted because
Yeah.
like I've been meaning to tell you that like it sounds like Street Fighter music, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like like that sounds like Guile and Blanca are about to fucking go at it.
I'm
Every time I
fucking
hear that shit
dead.
pumps me up. Like 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 to the point where I thought you did it intentionally. I don't know if you did or not, but like it just sounds like that. It sounds like Street Fighter 2 era
That's
fucking
fucking
shit. I
crazy.
like and just like stuff like that, and like hearing like Ipari Park and fucking like Closing Credits is when I went back and listened to it again, Closing Credits is one that really just like hit me in the chest. And like
Hey, bless,
yeah, I just I don't know, the way you like you deal with a lot of heavy shit in your music, but you always just come back to pushing it forward, and just like taking it one day at a time. And that's like aspiring for me, as someone who's a little bit older. But like I see like teenagers and people in their early 20s listening to your shit and think to myself like, yeah, like they're in good hands, like just off of like the way you
Bro, I
make
appreciate that.
being. Yeah,
Thank you, bro.
yeah, no, yeah, I just like, I don't know, it's been beautiful sitting with this album and really just kind of letting it grow on me, and I'm excited to let it grow on me even more. And
Mm.
I to kind of wrap this up, I I mentioned this earlier, but like your profile's grown so much over the course of the last half decade. Like the last time I saw you, no, 2 times ago when y'all opened when you and Vale opened for Gibbs,
Yeah.
um, I told you at the first time we ever met was when you and Slums opened for Deem Spencer and Much More's, like right
Crazy.
before Hustle came out. And
For
like we
sure.
talked for like 10 seconds and you like you introduced yourself to me, I introduced myself to you, and I had no idea where you were gonna head at that point. But then I heard the project and I was like, oh, this nigga's a star. Like on some real shit. And like you've kind of fulfilled that prophecy because like you've like you made your own record label. You've kind of been at the vanguard of whatever this scene or whatever you want to call it is for like a minute at this point. Like you started your own festival. Like you Wiki and Alchemist just did a fucking Tommy Hilfiger collab. Like, and like, and like you got almost 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify. And like before you were just hyped that people were buying your shit off Bandcamp and putting money in your PayPal, so like as someone, like not to like pat myself on the back or be crazy or anything, but like as someone who's been here for a minute, like it's really amazing to see you kind of stay 10 toes and really commit to yourself and build something that's not just so great for yourself but for so many other people, and like to see you be so community oriented and so like willing to be a person to people, like that shit is really beautiful.
Bro.
And
Bro.
yeah, like and like I really mean that. But looking back on everything you've accomplished since 2017, like what would you say is the biggest difference between Mike right before he dropped May God Bless Your Hustle and Mike now on the verge of a gigantic fucking headlining tour with 454 and goddamn Sloss and Malone and shit?
Yo, the difference, bro. Before, bro, thank you so much for that. That like that shit really just meant the world to me, bro. That shit, like, thank you, bro. Thank you. I don't even know how to like put it into words how grateful I am, bro. Because I don't really go through the memory lane like that too much. So, like, especially with other people, but like even just to know somebody is like watching and caring, bro, that shit means the most to me, bro. So thank you, bro. Thank you.
I got you, man, for real.
Bro. Bro, shit I would say is shit is a lot less frantic. like I'm a lot less frantic. I have more control. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you have a lot more control, and just like, you got so much further to go, and there's just like you already have like Beware of the Monkey is something that feels like it came from a lot of trial and error and a lot of like I'm here now on some like yeah, like I just like the idea that you have almost 1 million people listening to your shit every month is like that's just really crazy and it's scary,
It's
but
wild.
like you worked for that. You don't need me to tell you all this, but it's
Nah,
just cool to see that happen and like manifest in the music, and
thank you, bro.
just like for you to be solid and shit, like it's just I don't know, like it's really beautiful to see. And
Nah, I appreciate that shit, bro, for real.
yeah, and to like wrap this up, like for real, Mike, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
What would it be if my life was a movie? Like what kind of movie would it be?
Yeah. Or if you want, you could just be like, my life would be paid in full because like I already know you'd be Mitch and shit. But nah.
Yeah. Nah, if my life was a movie, bro, it'd be like it'd be like it'd be a thriller, comedy, romance, drama. It'd be everywhere, everything all at once. For bro. But the Nigerian, the Nollywood version.
The Nollywood version of everything. That like, see, now I need the Nollywood version of everything everywhere all at once. That's wild. That's would it be a tragedy? Would it be a tragedy?
We gotta wait and see. We gotta wait and see.
No, kids, stop it. Stop it. Yo, yeah, nah, I'm happy. Nah, that's like, I need that. I'm gonna go do my due diligence and go catch up on some more Nollywood, because it's amazing, and everyone needs to run it as soon as they can. But like, Mike, bro, thank you. Like, I don't know what else to say. Just like, thank you for your thoughtfulness, and just like for the music, and just being solid. Like, just like, you're like a good dude.
Hey, bro, I appreciate that shit, bro. For real.
Yeah, man. It's been it's really been beautiful to see the come up, and then, like, I know you got 1,000 different other places to go, so I'm just ready to see it move.
Hey, it's good. We doing it, bro. We doing it. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for being one of the solid journalists out here, bro.
Thank you, bro. No, I appreciate that. This is like, this shit means everything to me, and I just want to give people a platform and tell stories as best as I can. So, the fact that y'all trust me, the fact that y'all trust me means a lot. Like that like, I'm incredibly grateful for that. So thank you for that.
Of course, man. Of course.
Yo, son. Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the Black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.